And welcome to a new season of the N1 with EJ podcast. I'm your host, Ernest EJ Christian, coming to you here at the Palatial Christian Estates here. It is the day of the NBA, start of the NBA season. But before I get to that, we're going to do a little season preview here. This will be one of the longer shows we've done because of a lot to talk about here. We're going to go through each team's over-under numbers. We're going to go to my top 25 players in the league, my rankings, of course. If you haven't heard my main podcast, Ernest Podcast, you can check it out on any podcast catcher. I did actually put out a list on both these things here, but that was more of a group effort. I'm going to give my solo episode here on the Huddle Incorporated feed. First off, before we get started, I want to apologize to you guys, number one, for basically not doing the podcast since the middle of the playoffs last year. Things happened. Just got busy. I have my own projects as well too. I have my own shows I do as well, and I got wrapped up in that. Other things, family things, of course. Kind of lost focus a little bit. I actually contemplated not even doing this year, to be honest with you. But I also did promise Big Jim that I was going to do as much as I could. Even if I did this, even if I do this show every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, for now, until we get toward the end of the year. I'm going to do my best to keep this going. So I want to shout out to you guys for, first off, for understanding. And we're going to try to keep this show going consistently moving forward on this feed. I believe in this feed. And, obviously the shows we do here, obviously the Huddle Up Podcast, the live show we do every Tuesday, which I appear on. We have, of course, Observations with Big Jim. We have the Fantasy Football Podcast with Big Mikey B. When we do have the time, or when he doesn't have the time, the pitch with Matt, we'll see if that comes back this year. Hopefully, we'll see. Like I said, a lot of things going on here on this feed, and I'm glad to be part of that. So, without further ado, I want to take too much time because this podcast, as you've seen on this feed, we don't go too long. We go max 20 minutes, 25 minutes. This one might go a little longer because we got a lot to touch on here. But I'll do what I can here. So I'm going to go through every single team, the over/under numbers here. And we'll see where I feel on that. Atlanta Hawks last year went 41-41. Over on numbers 41.5 wins. I'm going over on that. Slightly over. I don't know how much better they're going to be. I know they traded John Collins and all that. They still got Trae Young. Still got, Jonathan Murray. They're going to be one of those teams in the mix of playing. Most likely they probably for the 6th seed. We'll see how it plays out. They got in the playoffs last year. Got into the play-in. Got the 7th seed. Lost to Boston in 6. And the series was actually kind of competitive, actually. If you think about it, game to game. So, but I'm going to go over on Atlanta Hawks, not Falcons. I'm football mode, sorry. The Boston Celtics, last year, 57 wins, over on number 54.5. I'm going over on that one. They acquired, of course, Kristaps Porzingis. They also acquired Drew Holiday. This is a team, I believe, is the favorite in the Eastern Conference when healthy. Obviously, the big question is when healthy. I also think this is the year that Jason Tatum makes a big leap. I'm thinking. I'm not a Celtics fan necessarily. I don't necessarily want that to happen, but it's not about me being a fan. It's about me what I'm thinking. What is the case? And Boston on paper is still, to me, in my opinion, even with the Milwaukee Bucks moves with Dame Lillard, which we'll get to in a second, still the best team in all of at least in the Eastern Conference. And I put them as a favorite still. Brooklyn Nets last year, 45 wins, over a number of 37.5 wins. I'm going under on that one, although I think this is going to be a very frisky and very interesting team to watch next year. I think Ben Simmons, we did a report about Ben Simmons, he looks like it's more focused. This is a team that has a lot of young talent. Cam Thomas and those guys and Mikal Bridges, and we'll see how that plays out. This could be a team that could flirt with play-in. I'm not going to go ahead and bank on that, but we'll see what happens. Charlotte Hornets, last year 27 wins, over under 3.5 wins. I'm going under in that one. Not much going on there. You got LaMelo Ball, but other than that, not much going on there. They did draft Brandon Miller third in the draft, but other than that, nothing much going on there. So, excuse me, not third, second in the draft. Third was Scoot Henderson. I apologize about that. The Chicago Bulls last year, 40 wins, over under 37.5 wins. I'm going to go under. I think this team is one of the teams in the league I believe are going to start may be blowing things up in the middle of the year. If this team is not winning games out the chute, I believe this team will be selling. To DeMar DeRozan, for example, maybe even Zach LaVine on a move. I know I re-signed Vucevic, but Nikola Vucevic, but he could be on the move also too if things aren't really, going Chicago's way out the gate. So just keep an eye on that team moving forward. for selling parts. Cleveland Cavaliers, I almost said Browns. Last year, 51 wins, over-under number 50.5 wins. I'm going to go slightly under, although I do think that this is a team that can break through and crack that top 3 in the East. We'll see how it plays out. Great, solid year last year. Disappointing ending to the season with Donovan Mitchell. First round exit to the Knicks. But I think this is a team to look out for. This team could be a fringe conference championship contender. We'll see how it plays out. I mean, could they beat Milwaukee? Could they beat Boston? Could they compete there? Could they, look, they lost to New York in its first round, so not a good look so far, but we'll see what happens. The Dallas Mavericks last year, 38-44, over/under is 44.5. I'm gonna go slightly over on this one. I think a full camp of Kyrie and Luka can do wonders. I'm not confident they'll crack 50 wins, but I'm gonna go over this one. I think this team can probably be that 6th seed in the West. We'll see how that plays out, obviously. But I think with Luka and Kyrie, a full camp, as long as both guys are healthy, especially on the Kyrie Irving's part, I can see this team being a problem in the Western Conference. They can score. Defensively is a problem. But I think there's a lot of room for, I say a lot of room. The Western Conference has a lot of bumps and hurdles. But I think Dallas will figure it out a little bit. All right. We got the champs here. Denver Nuggets. Last year, 53 wins, over/under 52.5. I'm gonna go way over in this one. These guys, the only loss they had was Bruce Brown, who's a good player, but he's not gonna cost you, 2-3 wins like that. You still got Jokic, you still got Murray, you still got all those pieces on that team. They're gonna be a problem. I think there's the favorites in the West Conference still, although you have to compete with the Lakers, and compete with the Suns, and some people say the Warriors. We'll get to that in a second. But I think the Nuggets are probably the one team in the West Conference that, to me, I feel most confident in because they have the pieces and they also have the camaraderie just coming off this finals run. And these guys are mature and very. This team is all about business at the end of the day, and because of that, I trust that process in Denver and Mike Malone and all that. So give me the over on the Nuggets. All right. Detroit Pistons last year, 17 wins, over/under number 27.5. I'm going to go under in this one. Although I'm interested to see how they look with Kate Cunningham returning from injury. But I just think they're not there yet. It's still about a year or two away from being a playoff contender in that conference. The Golden State Warriors last year, 44 wins, over/under number 48.5. I am going to go under in this one. I am not. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe I missed something here, but I'm not that big on the Warriors this year. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure if they're in the finals bubble right now. You still got Steph, Draymond, Clay all there, but a year older. Steph is not gonna get better than he is now. Steph's still great, but he's not gonna. He's peaked. It's at his peak or his peaked already. They added Chris Paul. To me, it's about the pieces around that. If the pieces around them can elevate this year, if the Kumingas of the world can elevate, if Wiggins can stay healthy, and obviously was away last year for personal issues, if they can figure a way out, and their interior, if they can figure out the way to firm the interior, because that's arguably how they lost the Lakers in the playoffs. If they figure a way to figure that out, then maybe I can trust them. But a year older, Clay contract year, maybe that motivates him to get a new deal. He looked kind of shaky at the end of the year. I'm just not feeling the Warriors in the same way. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they just pace themselves and they get hot in the playoffs. I don't know. But I just think, I personally think right now, Lakers playing better than they are, Denver playing better than they are, Phoenix playing better than they are. I think the Kings are right there with them. They won 7 games last year in the playoffs. I don't know. I'm not as big on the Warriors as everybody else is saying. Would I call them out? Hell no. I'm not calling them out. Hell no. All right. Houston Rockets last year, 22 wins, over/under 31.5. Going under in that one. Interested to see. I think they'll be close to 30 wins, though. You got Ime Udoka, first-year coach. You obviously have Fred VanVleet, and you got Dylan Brooks. They got some young pieces there. I think Ime is going to have those boys playing hard. They'll be one of those hard outs every night. But again, you play in the Western Conference. What more can you do? You know what I mean? Indiana Pacers last year, 35 wins, over/under 30.5. I'm going to go over on this one. This team was literally a top 6 team in the Eastern Conference going to mid-January, when Tyrese Halliburton went down. And the season went off the rails after that. I think Indiana, if healthy, you still got Buddy Hield, you still got Miles Turner. They have a nice little core there. Obviously, this is another team where if this team does start slow, do they sell pieces? I can see that, but I think this team is going to be a team that will flirt with a playoff spot. So I'm going to go over on this one. The LA Clippers, last year, 44 wins, over on number 45.5. I'm going to go under for one reason. I don't trust Kawhi and Paul George to stay healthy. To me, it's about the timing of when they're healthy. If they're healthy by the time of the playoffs and they have 40-plus wins, they're dangerous. But I don't trust them to go over that number. And it's funny because they have, to me, when those guys are healthy, they have the best roster, in my opinion, in all of basketball. But when they're healthy. I mean, they're well coached, got Ty Lue, you got an owner who wants to spend money and Steve Ballmer. You just got to stay healthy, man. Kawhi and Paul George. To me, as a basketball fan, this team frustrates me to hell. So, LA Lakers last year, 43 wins, over under 47.5. I'm going to go over this one. I think their core roster, what they put together around AD and LeBron is great. You also added Gabe Vincent. You kept Austin Reeves, and I think LeBron will play well this year as always. He pace himself. I think AD will get close to playing 65 games this year. I think he'll be as healthy as he can for the first time in a long time. Again, it's like the Clippers though. Is AD healthy at the right time when he needed to be like he was last year? We'll see. But I'll go over on this one. Memphis Grizzlies last year, 51 wins, over under 45.5. I have over here, but this is before I heard the news about Steven Adams out for the season. I'll stay with the over, but I'm not as confident in that one. I think the Adams injury is a bigger deal than people make it out to be. The interior, you can argue, is why they lost the Lakers in the first round last year. You could argue that's an issue. They had John Morant's out for the first third of the year, 25 games. They can still win games without him, but with no Adams there, I don't know, man. I already said on record that if I am the Grizzlies and if I see that interior being an issue, I'm on the phone with Portland trying to get Robert Williams. Just saying. So we'll see. All right, the Miami Heat. My Miami Heat last year, 44 wins, over our number 45.5. Of course, into the finals last year. I'm going under again. This is a team that's going to be a team pacing itself, just getting to the playoffs, and then they'll figure things out in the playoffs once they get there. Jimmy will miss a couple games, obviously games here and there. What you're hoping for, in an off season where they didn't get the job done. They didn't get Damian Lillard. They didn't get Drew Holiday. They didn't get Bradley Beal. You're hoping that the young talent they have steps up, and more importantly, you're hoping that Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo make the jump. Can they make the jump? We shall see. The Milwaukee Bucks last year, 58 wins, over under 54.5, going over. Love the Damian Lillard acquisition. Still at the core of Giannis and Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton. Obviously, you got to give Drew Holiday for that deal. I do like Boston still over them right now, despite that. But I do think they are definitely in the title picture. We'll see how that plays out. It's a game of interest between Milwaukee and Boston, really, honestly. New coach Adrian Griffin. We'll see how that plays out. All right. Next team here, Minnesota Vikings. Wow. I'm in NFL mode. as excited as I am about the NBA, I'm still in NFL mode. Minnesota Timberwolves last year, 42 wins, over under 44.5. I'm going under this one. I think this is the year that Karl Anthony Towns asked for a trade. This is clearly Anthony Edwards' team. Clearly. And with Rudy Gobert eating up a bunch of their cap because that dumb contract, or the dumb contract they traded for last year, I think Cat asked out. I think this is going to be a little bit of an implosion. But I do think Edwards will have a great year individually. All right, next one. New Orleans Pelicans last year, 42 wins, over under 44.5. Going over reluctantly, because I say reluctantly only because can Zion Williamson finally stay healthy? You saw last year, in going to late December, the first quarter of the year, first 9 games of the year, they were actually the 1 seed, I think, at one point, 1 or 2 seed, and Zion was in the MVP discussion. He gets hurt, misses the rest of the year. Team falls apart. Now, they did make it to the play-in late, but again, when Zion's healthy, this team can change the entire dynamic. And this is why I was saying about the Warriors. This is why I'm not sure. Like, if Zion's healthy, I think this team's on par with the Warriors. If he's healthy. Because this team fits around, the Brandon Ingrams and CJ McCollums and all the other pieces around that. Really solid team. But it's all about Zion. If Zion makes them special, I'm going to go over. I'm going to take my chances. Fingers crossed that he stays healthy. All right. The New York Knickerbockers. Last year, 47 wins, over under 45.5. Going to go slight under this one. They're probably still in 44-ish games, 45 games. Jalen Brunson, great year last year. Obviously, the culture change there. Julius Randle, Iron Man there for that team. But, Tom Thibodeau, as good as he is, there's a ceiling there. They got a lot of young talent. They're a playoff team, but I do think the issue with that team is there's a ceiling with Thibodeau. But I do think they're a mid-40 win team still. They didn't get any better in the offseason. Obviously, they traded Obi Toppin, but they didn't get any better. And you can argue the teams around them got better. So, we'll see. They're stuck in the middle there. All right, Oklahoma City, the Thunder. This one I'm looking forward to. Last year, 40 wins. Over under 44.5. I'm going slight under, and that's only because of the teams ahead of them. But I think this is definitely a playoff-ish team. We'll see. I'm still holding back. You get Chet Holmgren back, obviously now. Missed his first year. He's back this year. SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, coming off a phenomenal year. First team All-NBA. They got a lot of really good pieces there. Let's see. Are they this year's Sacramento Kings? We shall see. Definitely league pass favorite for me. Looking forward to that. The Orlando Magic last year, 34 wins, over under 37.5. I'm going over on this one. Another team that's on my radar, playing team in the Eastern Conference. Pablo, Banchero, all those pieces, they got a lot of fun pieces there. Last year they were kind of frisky. There was some nights they're beating the Bostons and Milwaukee's last year and the Miami's last year. This is a team that if they can play more consistently, definitely playing team. Who knows? All right. The 76ers last year, 54 wins, over under 48.5. Going under. The drama. Is James Harden going to be on that roster tonight, tomorrow, next week? And if he gets traded, how's it look like? Too many questions. Joel Embiid. He's been able to stay healthy most of the last couple of years. Can it hold up? Tyrese Maxey. Can he take the next step, the next leap? I think he will. How much? We'll see. Too many questions in this team, and teams around them got better. So I'm going to go under this one. They'll be close to about 47, 46 wins. You got Embiid, obviously. Joel Embiid, who's an MVP, defending MVP. We'll see who stays healthy. Phoenix Suns, last year, 45 wins. Over under 52.5. Going under over this one, obviously. KD, obviously, Devin Booker. You got Bradley Beal, Frank Vogel, new head coach. They have some nice little pieces around them. They've done a good job with building around those three guys. I mean, their ceiling obviously is winning the title. I think they'll get to the conference finals this year, and then go from there. I like to see them a lot. Actually, they're actually another team that might win one seed in the Western Conference, if healthy, of course. All right, let's scroll down here real quick. The Portland Trailblazers last year won 33 games, over under 28.5 wins. Of course, under for me. But an interesting team with under a lot of talent there, but a lot of parts that could be moved. Obviously, you trade with Dame Lillard for Jrue Holiday, and then Jrue Holiday gets traded, and you get Rob Williams back, you get Malcolm Brogdon, but two pieces that could be moved by deadline. We'll see. Travis Scoot Henderson, he'll be fun to watch. I just think the West is too good on top, or even the middle. But I think Portland will be one of those really frisky teams that will, put up a fight every night, but it's king of the hump because they're young. They're too young and not good enough then in that conference. So I'm going to go under on the Blazers. They'll probably have a 27-28 win team. That's their max. All right, the Sacramento Kings. Last year, 48 wins. This year, over under 44.5. They were my favorite league pass team to watch last season. I'm going over. I think this team is going to get better. The young talent, Keegan Murray, of course. It's going to have another solid year around De'Aaron Fox, around Domantas Sabonis, Mike Brown, Coach of the Year. phenomenal job with that team, and I think they'll continue to grow. Give me the over on the Kings. Now, San Antonio Spurs, last year, 22 wins, over under 20.5. Going under, one reason only. I don't know how many games Victor Wembanyama is going to be playing this year. I don't know. I don't know. That's why I won't even pick Rookie of the Year for that reason, because if he doesn't play 65 games, you don't qualify. And I think Greg Popovich is going to take his time with him, honestly. But I will, obviously, there'll be a great league pass scene to watch because of Wemby. I mean, he looks like a unicorn. He looks phenomenal. And it's the little I saw preseason, he looked phenomenal. So look out for that. But I'm going to go under on the Spurs. All right, 3 more teams here. Toronto Raptors last year, 41 wins, over under 36.5. Going under, another team in the league that could be blowing things up by the trade deadline. You got Pascal Siakam on a contract year. Obviously the loss of Fred VanVleet. You got pieces that are going to be moving probably. Then OG Anunoby could be on the move as well too. Lots of things there going on in Toronto. If they start slow rather, I can see this team blowing things up. So I'm going to go under in that one. All right, 2 more teams. Utah Jazz last year, 37 wins, over under 35.5. I'm going to go under in that one for the same reason I went for Portland. Just too much good teams in the Western Conference. But again, last year they were competitive, and I think they'll be competitive the same way too. There's too many good teams in the West, and even teams that are around Utah, win total wise, are probably a little better than they are still. So I think it's still another year away from being a real playoff team. Finally, the Washington Wizards last year won 35 games, over under 23.5. I'm gonna go over this one slightly. You got Jordan Poole. You got Kyle Kuzma. You know those guys be chucking up shots all night long. They'll be actually one of the more intriguing and fun teams to watch in terms of how they fit. Definitely a lot of chucking on that team, that's for sure. But I'm gonna go over on this one slightly, just because of that. I think there'll be a couple of games where they'll probably there might be enough chucking games where they can win 24 games this year. So I'm gonna go over on the Wizards. All right. As for my predictions, MVP, I'm going to go Jason Tatum. Coach of the Year, I'm going to go Joe Mazzulla in Boston. My East Finals, I got Bucks and Celtics. My West Finals, I have Suns and Nuggets. NBA Finals, I got Nuggets and Celtics. NBA Champion, I have Boston Celtics. Yuck. Throw up my mouth, obviously. Hate saying it, but Boston. It seems like everything's all set. As long as they're healthy, everything seems to be all in line for the Celtics to win a title this year. All right, last thing before we get out of here. I did on my regular podcast, Ernst Podcast. You can check out any podcast catcher, or also my YouTube page if you guys get a chance, at youtube.com/Ernest Christian. I did a top 25 list rankings with myself, my friends Zach the Degenerate and Chris Charismatic, and we compared 25 to 1. We compared the list. We did this episode. I'm gonna give my list here, just individually here. So from 25 to 21, 25 Tyrese Halliburton, 24 Zion Wilson, 23 Domantas Sabonis, 22 Paul George, 21 Anthony Edwards. From 20 to 11. Number 20, I have John Morant, who got knocked down big time, obviously because of suspension. 19, Jalen Brunson, cracking my top 20. Culture changer, obviously deserves it. 18, De'Aaron Fox. Phenomenal year. Clutch player of the year last year in the NBA. 17, Kawhi Leonard. This guy should be a top 5 player when healthy. But again, availability matters. Number 16, I got Jaylen Brown. 15, Donovan Mitchell. 14, Jamal Murray in that great finals run last year. 13, Damian Lillard. 12, Anthony Davis. He's complicated because when healthy, just like Kawhi Leonard, top 5 player in the league. Number 11, SGA Shai Alexander. And I really consider putting him in the top 10, honestly. What a year he had last year. Now 10 to 1. Number 10, LeBron James. The guy's turned 39. He's still top 10 player in the league. It's amazing, isn't it? Guys, appreciate this guy, man, while you can, while we still have him, please. 9, Devin Booker. 8, Jimmy Butler. 7, Joel Embiid, who went down one spot even after an MVP because he was so up and down in the playoffs. And I put a lot of weight in the playoffs as well too. Number 6, Jason Tatum. 5, Kevin Durant. 4, I got Luka Doncic. 3, I got Steph Curry. 2, I got Giannis Antetokounmpo. And number 1, I got Nikola Jokic, the champ. So that's my top 25 entering this season. Anything else I want to do here before I clear the palette? No, that's it, guys. That's it for me. So again, I am on Twitter or X at EJChristian7. We are back. We'll probably do an episode of these. I'm going to try. So guys, before we get out of here, I'm going to try to do these shows every week. That's the goal. But I got a lot going on outside of this show, obviously. I got my main shows. I do other things. In fact, I was so busy, I actually left. So you guys know I did a wrestling podcast for a long time. Take the Wrestling. I left that last month for a number of reasons. One being the schedule, another one being I got other things going on right now. That's I have my focus. But I'm gonna try to do this show. And the thing with this show, which is great, is that this is not something I need an hour to do, or even half an hour to do. I just need 10-15 minutes to just give my observations in a week and things on my mind. Takes my mind during the season. So I'm going to attempt to do it every week. Don't expect every week. Expect at least every 2 weeks. I'll figure out the day. Tuesday or Thursdays. I haven't decided what day I'm going to drop those yet. I got to figure out the schedule. I know last year was Tuesdays. It may still be Tuesdays. We'll see. But we're going to try to stay up with this one. We're going to try to stay consistent with this one. So again, I apologize once again for not checking in and not being able to stay with the show, but we're going to do what else we can now to do this now going forward. Again, Twitter, EJChristian7, my YouTube page at youtube.com/Ernest Christian. Episodes on there as well too. And of course, I'm on Huddle podcast every Tuesday night on the live show, talking football. So until then, enjoy the start of NBA season. It is Christmas time for me. NBA is back. I'm so happy, and we will talk soon. Later.